Find out what's cooking at the local community kitchen. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the community kitchen of Myrtle Beach, and we're visiting with its executive director, Sylvia Harmon. Good morning, Sylvia.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for asking me.
A lot going on with the community kitchen.
Always.
It really is always, isn't it?
Always. It is.
Since
the day we open.
Yeah, are there any lull times ever?
My new associate says no, that it's always busy.
Yeah.
From, the time we get there in the morning, about 8, 8:30 until the time we leave, 1:30.
Mm-hmm. And are there any busier times of the year? Is the summer heavier than the winter? I guess a lot of folks think winter because of folks needing to get inside or get meals, but oftentimes you've got a heck of a lot more people in the summer.
Well, as of Tuesday, we had 189, and we have no idea where they came from. Our top figure was 179, but we topped that at 189. That was a very busy day. We didn't realize we were going to have that many people. So
now, what do y'all? Yeah, y'all can scramble quickly if.
Absolutely. There's always something in the pantry, pretty much, that we feed with. So it may not be. Sometimes it may be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We get down to that, but that's okay too.
For folks that are hungry, absolutely.
Right. Absolutely.
Y'all are there, and so now you've got a lot of volunteers as well.
We have an absolute army of volunteers. We have snowbirds that come down for the winter. In fact, we had a party for one Monday night that is leaving. He's been here all winter. He works 5 days a week, washing dishes or whatever that has to be done. We have 11 or 12 area churches that rotate year-round, same schedule. And they come in and they have volunteers and they work. So we got people that just walk in off the street and want to do this. So
wow.
We have youth, college students that's going through their classes that they need to do community service. The arts and science, children from all over the southeast all summer. So it's just many, many people come through the kitchen.
That's tremendous. And for viewers who may not have visited the kitchen, where exactly are you all located?
1411 Mr. Joe White Avenue in Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
Old 10th Avenue is what a lot of people still remember it as.
And you're close to an intersection of Old 10th Avenue or Mr. Joe White Avenue and Grissom Parkway. Okay. So for our viewers coming in from the PD or southeastern North Carolina, they'd be coming down 501 and take a left on Grissom and then a right on Mr. Joe White.
Or you come on 10th off of the bypass.
Right, and come straight over to y'all. It's pretty easy to see.
It's a very easy, nice building.
Yeah, good looking color there. Kind of like your top there. I mean, albeit yellow instead of pink, yeah.
Well, we have new colors put on. We're almost 10 years old, so in fact we are. So we're having new colors put on. We need some upkeep on the building, so.
Real quick about yourself, Sylvia. Are you originally from the area?
I've been at the beach since 1959.
Oh, gal. So you'd be considered local by many.
Almost local. I wasn't born here, but I was here shortly thereafter. I worked on the beach as a teenager even before then.
Is that right? Doing what?
At the Seaside Cafeteria. And then at Pawleys Island, Rusty Ann Lodge. Then the Crescent Beach at the Crescent Beach Hotel many years ago. So. My history goes way back. So
you hit the center of the beach, the south end of the Strand, then back up to the north end.
Right.
Wow, you really have hit it. What brought you down to the beach in '59, Sylvia?
Married.
Yeah, those guys.
Yes, and then my in-laws lived here. They had a motel. So.
They had a motel there?
Yes.
Or here, yes.
They had a motel at the beach, in Myrtle Beach, and we came down because they were both not well, so we came down to run the motel.
You came down to run the motel? Well, that got you in touch with the community then pretty well.
Yes, it did.
Having a good idea. Did folks ever stop in when you were running the motel, ever come in and ask, could I stay, or was there ever a reaching out, or does that happen to hoteliers or motel owners up and down the Strand now?
I think it does, but now you have places for these people that need some place to go. You have the Myrtle Beach Haven, you have the Shelter Home for Children, you have the Alliance Inn now, which is, as you well know about that, right up the street from us on 10th Avenue. So there's a system to go through to get in that. You just don't walk in the door. And the Myrtle Beach Haven, you have also to go through Helping Hand or the Myrtle Beach Police Department. So there's a lot of places to go and stay now that we did not used to have. But you have an army of people that still live in the woods.
That still live in the woods? In this area?
In this area.
Wow, really?
Yes, you do.
Huh. Well, all over the county, or all over the? This is primarily in the city, or this is close to y'all?
There's a lot in the city.
I don't think I was aware of.
You do. You really, truly do. I think there was a study recently by the Alliance Inn and the city that says you have several hundred a day in Myrtle Beach.
Is that right? You know, Mark Crew was with us yesterday, and we didn't talk much about that. We're talking about other activities in the city, and I'm sure the city must have some.
Well, they are doing a lot to handle this, and Alliance Inn came out of the need for people to have some place that they could stay on a little long-term basis rather than 2 weeks at a shelter. And that's what the Alliance Inn is helping to do.
David Douglas was with us month before last talking about, I don't know if you know Douglas out of Aner, who developed the Alliance Inn, has developed a lot of other similar properties, albeit that's the first of its kind in the state, as a matter of fact. And of course there are a lot of other parts of the state that are interested in launching something similar to the Alliance Inn. Have you all found some interface between the community kitchen in Myrtle Beach and Alliance Inn? Do you see some of those folks come in either to volunteer, to help out, or to...
Well, we haven't had any of them in to volunteer, but we do feed some of them. Some of them that are very handicapped, we feed. And someone feeds a couple of them for us each day. And, but we never know where the people come from. Like the 189 have no clue where they come from.
Is that right? For a viewer who needs to head off to school now or get out to work, what's the best number for someone to call to learn more about the community kitchen in Myrtle Beach, or see how they could be involved?
444-9383.
Okay, that's 843-444-9383.
I'm sorry, I forgot about the area.
No, that's fine. Of course, here most of our viewers are in the PD in southeastern North Carolina, but a lot of folks, and there are similar kitchens in communities, albeit a lot of communities just do they find other ways to handle it? I mean, they don't have their own. I mean, this is a pretty big deal.
This is a very big deal, but when we put the kitchen in this building together, we also have in the building Helping Hand, which is a very old agency that started many, many years ago. We also have the thrift shop. And the reason to put these together is each of these agencies were in another building, all paying expenses, all paying rent. So we put it all together in this one building. So we have Helping Hand, you have the thrift shop, the community thrift shop, you have the community kitchen. You also have the Little River Medical Center that comes in twice a week from 10 to 2. The folks that don't get medical attention otherwise, they get it on Tuesday and Thursday. And then you have Waccamaw Mental Health comes in and they counsel on Wednesday afternoon, I think it is. So we have the building full.
Golly, this is the Elizabeth Chapin Patterson Community Assistance Center. And what a great location to arrive, truly there in the heart of Myrtle Beach.
It is.
When you think about reaching out to folks, it's so vital to maintain, you know, oftentimes that suburban sprawl, folks take off, they continue to go out, and then they come back to the city and start it all over again. And it looks like you all have remained in the city.
Well, we had some difficulty in finding a piece of property that would handle all this. But we were lucky to find this piece before 10th Avenue, Mr. Joe White Avenue, was ever paved. So we were very fortunate. The Chapin, Burson Chapin sold us the property. And the The name of the building, of course, is Elizabeth Chapin Patterson. And it's a beautiful photo of her in the lobby of the building.
Break down a typical day for you. I guess there's probably never a typical day, Sylvia, but from here, you know, at 7:30, you'll be heading out of here, probably heading over there, and what'll the day be like?
I arrive anywhere from 7:30 to 8:30, depending on what has to be done. There's pickups. We have an army of volunteers that pick up from Costco, from Pizza Hut, from Bilo's, from everywhere in town that have a regular run on a weekly basis to pick up food. And they bring it back to the kitchen for us. And then we try to plan a week's meals out, but that doesn't happen very often because it changes frequently, depending on what comes in. And then the volunteers come in. We have a supervisor for each day. Some of them's been with us for 10 years. Some come twice a week and have for this long. But they are the ones that supervise the volunteers. And sometimes we have 4 volunteers, and then sometimes we have 12 volunteers.
Wow.
So, and then get the meal ready to serve it, and then clean up, and then leave out about, like I said, usually about 1 o'clock. We try to get out. And then there's meetings and other places to go and other things to pick up and fundraisers and all this sort of stuff to work on.
And the meals can vary from, what's a typical meal?
A typical meal today was ham. I mean, what do we have today? I'm preparing for tomorrow, which is ham, which has been brought in by all these folks that got hams for Christmas Easter, they did not want to use them.
Right.
So we got all the hams. We preparing them for tomorrow, and they'll have an Easter dinner tomorrow.
Okay.
And yesterday was spaghetti. We have a young chef that comes by and cooks for us on occasion. So that's either a hearty soup or stew or spaghetti sauce. We serve wonderful meals. Most of our desserts will come from places that we pick up from every day, and that's pies and cakes and Costco's and Sam's and many, many different places, truly.
And if there wasn't a community kitchen, what would they be doing with that stuff? I guess it would go to waste, or there'd still be other folks that would come to them, right?
Well,
are they able to find, y'all are obviously a not-for-profit organization, so they're able to find some type of deduction there, albeit I'm sure they don't do it for that.
They don't ask for it. A lot of people do not ask for it.
Great.
In all the restaurants, and for instance, Pizza Hut has been donating to us almost since the day we opened.
Wow.
It's like 9,000 to 10,000 pounds of pizza a year.
Is that right? So they'll just donate uneaten.
We pick it up 3 times a week.
Okay, great. They have buffets. Is that
That's
right?
Where it
so
comes
it's from the buffets. Sure.
So that makes a wonderful meal. At Christmas time, we get everybody's turkey that they don't use. But it takes 4 to 5 turkeys to make us a meal, so that works out wonderful. So we take all the turkeys that nobody wants and cook them.
That's tremendous. Golly, you've got to have a cadre of cooks as well there.
Oh, we do. We do. Well, these are all volunteer cooks now.
Yeah.
I mean, these are people that just like to be taken advantage of, I suppose.
Yeah, listen to that. How do you have needs for volunteers? It sounds like you have such a...
We have a wonderful volunteer base, but it turns over. We have a core group that comes each day, and they come every week, unless they decide to go on trips and cruises and stuff like that. And then we have an emergency list that we pull from.
So if a viewer was to call in and wanted to see if they could help out, what would be their primary time constraint, time needs? What would be the hours they'd be
9
needed?
till about 12:30, 1:45.
9 to 1, possibly. So that 4 hours.
Or 10 to 1.
10 to 1 even.
We have had folks that come by on their lunch hour and just serve. If they work, they have a job, they have an hour.
Right.
So they come at lunchtime and serve.
That's tremendous. And so the need for that volunteer, most of the needs would be in serving. I mean, if a volunteer could call in or was interested in being a part of this, or particularly if they live or work anywhere close to the intersection of Grissom and Mr. Joe White Avenue. That would be a great tie-in. How are y'all funded, Sylvia?
A lot of fundraising. We are a seed grant United Way startup. Many years ago in the J.C. Hut, we have a Abraham Lincoln log cabin history with the J.C. Hut on Oak Street before it was burned by the fire department. But we had our first funds from United Way. $1,500 started us off. We opened up January 1993.
Is that right? So just celebrating 12 years now recently.
So then we started working on putting all these agencies together. We went to work in a soup kitchen in Charleston that was set up by Monsignor Kelly many, many years ago. And then from that, we started fundraising to put this building together, so which we did.
So you're working hand in hand with the folks at Helping Hand, and obviously with the community thrift store. And the thrift store is overseen by a different group, or is that tied into Helping Hand?
Well, it's managed by a manager, but it's overseen by the officers of the building.
Okay. And
that's, you buy it if you have the money. If you need it, you get it for free. What they do with that is, if you have a family that's been burned out, you bring the piece of paper from the fire department, and they give you everything you need, or that they have in the thrift shop at that time.
Wow. So, that's fantastic. I mean, that's a spectacular. Of course, the Red Cross, I'm sure, is trying to do something similar. So,
I'm sure they probably do, but I don't have time to work with the Red Cross.
Right, absolutely. You've got enough on your hands there, Sylvia.
But they, Helping Hand does a different type of outreach. Theirs is interview, bus tickets, meds, sort of a crisis intervention type deal in the same building. So, but they give out bags of groceries and stuff that way. We just feed. The only thing that they are required to do when they walk into the kitchen is sign in.
Okay.
Have a sign-in sheet, and that's it. That's because we need the numbers for all the money that we go after in fundraising and how many people you fed. Like last year, it was over 26,000 meals.
26,000? My Lord. It's a tremendous amount of
it is.
Meals. And you said y'all are open how many days a week?
Well, we're open 5 days a week for the kitchen, per se, the way it was set up initially. We have been trying to get someone in to take up the other 2 days. And as of about 6 months ago, the First Baptist Church, what is known as the Swash Ministries, have you heard of it?
No, I haven't.
All right. They were operating down by the Swash in Myrtle Beach.
Right.
Okay, in Myrtle Beach proper. They now have Tuesday night and Sunday. And then Socrates Original Free Will Baptist Church, as of March 29th, I think. No. I don't know exactly the date, but several weeks ago. Several weeks ago. On Saturday, they are doing bag lunches until they get their feet wet, and then they'll start cooking a meal probably as well in the kitchen. So we'll be 7 days a week.
Golly. That'll be a huge... Now, Sylvia, how are you going to find the time? My Lord, that's
what we did. We gave this to them because we now have, with this one grant foundation fundraiser, there's several more that we have to get up and running. We have the Poor Man's Dinner. I'm not sure if you've heard of that. We had it last May.
Yes, I had a guest in promote that 6 months ago, it seems like.
And that was a memorial dinner, and that last year was the second one. So we're hoping to get this one up and going again this year. So that requires quite a bit of after-hour work time to get these fundraisers going.
Boy, that must. Yeah. Share with viewers a little bit about the what's happening with the Waccamaw Foundation. I think
that is a challenge grant that they have out, and if we can raise somehow $40,000, they will give us $10,000, which will go into a fund that will raise funds for the kitchen on an ongoing basis.
Spectacular, absolutely.
Isn't that wonderful?
Absolutely. So if you're able to raise $40,000, they will throw $10,000 into the pot, and then use those funds to continue to grow it, to provide the stability going forward.
For the kitchen in hopefully years and years to come.
That's wonderful, Sylvia.
It is.
The Waccamaw Community Foundation's really stepping out to support a lot of groups, so that's,
they really are.
It's great they're able to do that.
I think so too, because like I said, it's a much needed ministry. It's a much blessed ministry that we have, but it's much needed in this area.
How did y'all first get together to launch the community kitchen of Myrtle Beach, Sylvia, and how did you get in as the executive director?
John, I say a little bit of brain damage, but anyway.
You're still wondering about that.
I'm still wondering about that. But anyway, there was a group of people that all were in different agencies, okay? And at that point in time, I worked at my church. And we used to hand out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches out the back door. So we knew we needed a kitchen to feed, to keep them out of the churches at lunchtime. And so we started begging, basically. And at first, we couldn't find any place to have it. And you couldn't have it in our kitchen because we had a kindergarten going on at my church. So, but we were lucky enough with the JCs. They loaned us a building, and we started it there. And the churches at that point in time had to cook the food and bring it to us because we could not cook in the JC hut. That's the condition it was in at that point in time. So, and then we've had the same core group of churches that's been with us, and now a few more that have stepped up and have joined us on a weekly, the 11 rotation basis that they do. So. And then we just had lots of, similar to the letter from the Waccamaw Foundation years ago, we had a mail out, and money, just kept begging money all these years to pay off the building. So,
many of the same churches that support the community kitchen support Helping Hands, support the community thrift store. Right, so that's been a good symbiotic relationship with all the groups.
It's a wonderful, it's an ongoing, plus we're still a United Way agent, which they have been wonderful to us over the years.
Absolutely. Kicking off with that seed grant back in 92, 93 time period.
No, they believed in us a long time ago. So we couldn't have done it without that because we didn't have one dime to open this deal until we got it going. So
we've just got a couple of minutes. What's the most pressing need that a viewer could step in to help out with? If is it volunteer hours? Is it donating food to the food bank? It sounds like you all have covered a lot of that.
We do. We would love to have, if they want to monetarily give us money, to make it out to the Waccamaw Foundation. They could also mail it to the kitchen, and I will give you that address, which is P.O. Box 563, Myrtle Beach, 29578. That is our mail-in address, but they are always welcome to call the kitchen.
Right.
There's many jobs that they can do. Helping Hand has to have volunteers. The thrift shop is always in need of volunteers, and if they don't like to do any of that, we'll find a job for them at the kitchen.
I'm sure you will. That's the 843-444-9383 number. And of course, if what they could provide was not necessarily the best suited for the community kitchen, as you said, you'll help get them in touch with Helping Hand or help provide those hours, or if they can't work from 10 to 1, they can only work early in the morning or in the afternoon. Again, some of the needs at Helping Hand or at the thrift store. That's wonderful that you all have that relationship to want to help each other out like that.
Yeah, well, things that we can't use at the center, we give them to the other agencies that can use them.
Right, right.
We'll send it to the local food bank, which distribute. They do many agencies out of the food bank. So what we can't use, we give to them and let them distribute for us.
If you hadn't stepped into this position back in 92, 93, Sylvia, think back to then, and obviously feeding out of the back of the church. What do you think you'd be doing if you weren't the executive director of the community kitchen of Myrtle Beach?
Being a crazy grandmother, I'm assuming, which I have 8 grandchildren, so that would be an easy thing to do. Yes.
How many of them are close by?
All of them.
Oh, come on.
So that's a great thing. They were all at my house, for the last holiday, and it's fun. So.
Yeah. What's your nickname? Is it Nanny, Nana?
Mimi. Mimi and Granny.
And so you share names depending on the grandchild.
Yes, I do.
Mimi and Granny.
And Granny, both.
Are any of them old enough yet to help you out at the community kitchen?
They have. I have my oldest grandchild is 16 years old, but she's now carrying a job in school and honors class out at Tech, so she doesn't have time.
What's the biggest inspiration for you on a daily basis, Sylvia?
You can't tell by looking. You know, there's no way you can judge somebody by looking at them. And there, for the grace of God, go a lot of people. And I have a blessed life, so it's sort of a need to give back, I guess. I really can't put it into words. You just do it.
Those are great words. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with Sylvia Harmon coming up next. Think about that, serving more than 26,000 meals in a year, all to needy individuals, all for no cost to them. That experience of going out, think about that word volunteer, whether it's volunteering dollars, volunteering dimes, volunteering time. That experience of being there, whether you can be there just on your lunch break and serving in the food line or be able to be there from 9 to 1 or 10 to 1, they need you. You get involved with an organization like that, and then you take the time to go out and help find funds to sustain it and to grow it. You know there's a heavy constraint on everyone involved at times, but at other times it's that recognition, as Sylvia said, of never judging, recognizing that desire to be there and be a part of growing their lives. All the folks in the line, 189 folks last Tuesday, as she said, out of nowhere. Be a part of being on the food line, be a part of making calls, getting folks interested in donating funds, or just be a part of the community kitchen of Myrtle Beach.